And welcome to this video, which I'm recording after a while uh, because of some personal urgencies that I had to attend to last month. But here I'm back now, and we shall continue from where we left in terms of asset security. The last what we covered is data principles or data classification and principles. And today we're gonna look into data security frameworks. The connection between data classification principle to data security framework is that your framework has to rely on the principle that has been set forth by your organization as to what is that they want to follow. And the framework gives a shape around what is that organization wants to pursue. So, what is actually a data security framework? It is a set of standard baseline um, doing scoping and tailoring to cater to your organization's particular need. And all this together forms how we call it as a framework or a data security framework. So if you look at the descriptive picture on your screen, we have set of standard and processes. We run these processes through tailoring or customization. We also add, for example, organization specific project needs or requirement or the constraint, for instance, your organization has if it is working in a regulatory sphere, be it financial institution like banks, be it pharmaceuticals, and you can name few more. You also want to have the guidelines, what you want to apply in terms of customizing or tailoring your processes to meet your organization or at a higher level demands, which may be coming directly from your organization, or it might also be entrusted by external parties like regulators or governmental laws. What comes out of this is then a tailored or customized process, which is also meant to align with the tooling capabilities. For instance, if you have to be able to implement it so that your tools also follow what is you want in the process. So what we have seen here is dominantly four major terms. One is scoping, which is what you want to cater to, what is that is applicable to your organization. So scope the process that is needed for your organization. For instance, rules that are applicable for bank may not be applicable for pharmaceuticals, and that is where, for instance, you have to apply the scoping aspect. Tailoring, as we have dominantly seen, is about customizing those processes to the needs of your organization. So if you really have a need to implement higher level of encryption due to the nature of your corporate or organization or the sector that it works in, then you do so. It is also important that the scoping and tailoring is backed by some sort of credibility. That is what we see in certification and accreditation. Certification is basically that you apply the security measure to protect what is that your processes are entailing to achieve. And it is the way by which the process owner, data owners, or the asset owner, depending on what organization roles and responsibilities you may have, verify that the principles of data security or security around your asset has been applied with. Accreditation is the last step where the outcome of certification is being handed over to the data owner or the process owner or the asset owner, and that is being marked as certified with any residual risk which your processes still carry and which is not being covered by the controls that you have applied. Now, certification and accreditation in many sectors is very, very important before you put your system in a live production, which may have impact on your end user, customer, and broader stakeholders. It is important to note that when you apply this data security frameworks, for example, if you have an unmarked data set which you do not know where it appears from, what to do with it, you apply the highest possible classification of your organization to that data set so as to make sure that you give immense importance to that data set right at the word go. And if later on it turns out that data is not that important as you have assigned the value to it, you can of course deprecate or decrease the level of classification. There are different standard FIPS 199, 200, and the NIST recommendation around your data security framework. So you should have a look at this. You do not have to memorize everything, but it is good to have that as a point of reference. And important part that your data security frameworks, what it creates is that a single source of truth, probably which your organization should rely on, and that is also called as system of records, which is the definitive source of your data for the implementation of the processes to achieve your organization goals and mission, so to say. So I'll stop here. Thanks for listening, and I'll hope to see you in the next video. Thank you very much.